the top 10 biggest tracks on the planet. Number 10. Moths. The elongated body, coupled with undeveloped false legs, located in the front of the abdomen, caused a kind of movement of the caterpillar. Often, moths are called surveyors because of the passage of space like a survey chain. Most species of moths are considered pests. They can cause significant damage to fruit trees over a large area. Interesting fact, moths are one of the largest families among butterflies. It unites more than 2,000 genera and 23,000 species. The moth is a master of disguise. It is quite difficult to notice it among the branches of trees. Sometimes it is even mistaken for a branch. It is all about the specifics of the color of the caterpillar. It practically merges with the color of the tree bark, and in addition, it is completely devoid of hairs. The moth has an interesting feature. In case of danger, the caterpillar is able to freeze for a long time, stretching its body in a straight line at certain angles upwards. This is possible due to the highly developed muscles. At such moments, it is very similar to an ordinary dry twig. Number 9. The wine hawk. The wine hawk moth can reach 5 centimeters in length. The color varies from light green to various brown shades. But in some parts of our planet, there is also a pitch black wine hawk. Due to its bright color and unusual symmetrical spots, similar in shape to the eyes, the wine hawk cannot be confused with any other caterpillar. At the end of the hawk moth's body, there is a horn-like growth. The diet of this unusual giant is dominated by Ivan tea, grape leaves, and less often flowers of plants from the balsamic family. It is worth noting that the hawk moth has a moderate appetite, since the caterpillar does not eat many leaves. The plants after its invasion receive minor damage. Number 8. The woodworm odorus. The Xylophangous caterpillar, widespread in Russia, which feeds mainly on wood and prefers poplars and willows, is sometimes found on fruit trees. It is considered a pest because it causes significant damage to bark and stem wood. The caterpillar has a bright pink color. At a later stage of development, the insect changes its appearance, acquiring a yellowish-red color with a dark tint on the back. The head is black. The fragrant woodworm reaches a length of 8 to 12 centimeters. In the Moscow region, for example, a specimen about 9 centimeters long was found. And although this caterpillar is not the largest representative of the species, it is a real record for such latitudes. Number 7. The large peacock eye. The peacock eye is a very beautiful, medium-sized butterfly, but being a caterpillar, it has a rather impressive, perhaps even formidable appearance. The caterpillar of a large peacock's eye is rather large, up to 10 centimeters long, and bright green in color. Along its entire length, the body of the caterpillar is covered with clavate hairs, thickened at the ends. It looks very unusual, and it is difficult not to notice such an insect. But in the cultural landscape, a large peacock eye is very rare, since it prefers to eat low-value plants, which people often get rid of. Although sometimes the caterpillar of the large peacock's eye can be found on fruit trees or walnuts. Number 6. The linden hawk moth. Based on the name, it immediately becomes clear that linden trees are a clear favourite for this caterpillar. Nevertheless, the hawkmaker appreciates variety in its diet and often visits alder, birch or elm to feast on their leaves. Sometimes it is also found on fruit trees. The lime hawk moth is found in Europe, the Middle East, Asia Minor, the Caucasus, etc. The caterpillar grows up to 6 centimeters in length, has a light green color, oblique red stripes run along the entire length of the body, along the sides. Yellow stripes are clearly visible on the abdomen of the insect. But before pupation, the linden hawk moth changes its color to brownish and hibernates not on a tree like most other caterpillars, but in the ground. Interesting fact, one of the related species of the linden hawk moth is the so-called dead-head hawk moth, and the name of the butterfly speaks for itself. On the upper side of the body, there is a yellowish image that looks like a skull. In some countries, the butterfly is called the Adam's head. For a long time in European countries, the butterfly was considered a harbinger of death. Number 5. The swallowtail. The caterpillar of this beautiful large butterfly is just as large and even quite beautiful for a caterpillar. The area of its distribution is quite wide. The swallowtail can be found both in Eurasia and in the African-American expanses, in the northern parts of the continents. Caterpillar development is divided into 2 stages. During the first, May to June, the caterpillar spends all the time in bird droppings, where it successfully hides from numerous predatory enemies. During this period of her life, her body is black and evenly spaced red warts and a white spot on the head. During the second stage, August to September, the caterpillar reaches its maximum size. The warts disappear, the colour becomes rather unusual. The body becomes green with evenly distributed transverse black stripes. Each strip has several bright orange specks. Nature has provided the insect with an effective defense mechanism. It is an organ of osmeteria, consisting of constantly contracting fleshy processes located in the head region. In case of danger, these processes emit a liquid with a pungent, unpleasant odor. Number 4. The Dipperkaya. This incredible night beauty is considered a polyphagus, which implies a varied diet. It often eats not only the foliage of fruit and wild trees, but also the inflorescences, leaves of berry bushes. In the caterpillar stage, the kaya bear stays for a rather long time, from September to May, and hibernates without pupating. The insect has an unusual appearance. Its black top and orange bottom is covered with a dense row of long grey hairs that resemble thorns. Such a menacing appearance allows the caterpillar to effectively scare off numerous enemies, although in fact the kaya bear is a shy and practically harmless creature. However, there is no poison on the tips of her hairs that can cause a strong allergic reaction. If it gets into the eyes, it causes conjunctivitis. In case of danger, the insect quickly falls from the tree, curling up into a ball, and pretends to be dead. Number 3. The big harpy. The body of the insect, reaching a length of 6 centimeters, has a bright green color. Excellent camouflage, the back is decorated with a kind of purple rhombus. The brown head seems to be pulled inward, so a rather unusual look is created. It becomes even more unusual when the caterpillar, in case of danger, menacingly inflates the front part of the body, as if protruding a large red mouth. In this case, the back of the body, complemented by 2 long processes, also rise above, and the red tips of these processes begin to move menacingly like stings. Number 2. The peacock eye atlas. The Atlas peacock eye is one of the largest butterflies on the planet, and its caterpillar is also impressive in its size. An adult insect reaches 10 centimeters in length, and the thickness is also quite impressive. The thick body is bluish-green in color and is completely covered with fleshy outgrowths to match the body color. Above and from the sides, the body of the caterpillar is covered with a white waxy coating. The peacock eye atlas prefers to live in trees and shrubs exclusively alone. The insect can be found in tropical forests in Southeast Asia. In artificial conditions, it willingly eats poplar, oak, and lilac leaves. It is not a pest. Pupation of the Atlas peacock eye occurs in a huge grey-brown cocoon attached to a leaf. The peacock eye atlas is of great importance for humans. It is actively used in economic life. For example, in India, the species is widely cultivated for the purpose of obtaining silk. But the resulting product is significantly different from what the silkworm gives to the world. The silk that the satin peacock's eye gives off is brown in color and has a strong woolly structure. This so-called phage silk, it is not uncommon for Taiwanese to use the empty satin peacock eye cocoons as sturdy and comfortable wallets. The royal nut moth, or the royal moth. The life cycle of this moth is typical of its species. For pupation, the caterpillar is not wrapped in a cocoon, but buries itself in the ground to move on to the next stage of its life in the created clay chamber. It has a powerful, thick body, reaching a length of 15 centimeters. The color is bluish-green. Each segment of the body is covered with frightening-looking horns. In the head region, several formidable horns are formed at once, long red-black processes giving an altogether frightening appearance. It is because of him that the caterpillar received an equally frightening Latin name, horned devil hickory. In fact, the royal moth caterpillar is completely harmless. Its external bravado is just a trick.